There is nothing more frustrating, is there? You load up your washer, you press start, and you get nothing. Just a blinking error code. Well, if that code you're seeing is an F10 or an E10, don't worry, we are going to walk through exactly what's going on and how you can fix it.
So there you are, staring at that F10 or E10 code on your Whirlpool. Or maybe it's a Maytag or Kenmore front loader. You're in the right place. We're going to give you a super clear step-by-step path from that frustrating error to a solid solution.
So, what does this code actually mean? Well, to put it simply, your washer's main computer, the control board, it just doesn't believe that the door is properly shut and locked. And for safety, there's no way it's going to start a cycle until it gets that all-clear signal from the door lock. That F10 or E10 code, that's just its way of screaming for help. Right. To solve this thing, we need to think like a detective. We're going to investigate the 4 most common culprits, and we'll start with the most likely one first. Here they are in order of how often we see them. Number 1, by a long shot, is just a failed door lock assembly. It's the part itself. Second, it could be something really simple, like the door is misaligned or something's blocking it. And then, much less common, you could have a damaged wire between the lock and the brain, or the least likely cause, a problem with the main control board. And you know what? Here's the good news. In over 80% of these cases, the problem is just the door lock assembly. That's it. This is a super common, replaceable part, so the odds are definitely in your favor that this is going to be a pretty straightforward fix. Okay, before we even think about grabbing any tools, let's start with the absolute simplest checks. You never know, we might be able to solve this whole thing in the next 60 seconds without taking a single thing apart. First up, let's try the reset trick. Go ahead and unplug the machine completely from the wall, and don't rush it. Wait a full 2 minutes. Now, while it's unplugged, just firmly open and close the door, say 10 to 15 times. Sometimes this can physically unstick a stubborn mechanism inside the lock. Then plug it back in and see if that error cleared. All right, if the reset didn't do the trick, let's do a quick physical check. Close the door and really listen. Do you hear a nice solid click when the latch engages? Now open it up and look really closely at that plastic hook on the door and the opening it goes into. Do you see any cracks, any lint or thread or gunk stuck in there? And just make sure that hook lines up perfectly with the hole. Okay, so if those quick checks didn't solve it, it's time to roll up our sleeves, go a little deeper, and start the real hands-on diagnosis to get a definitive answer. Now listen, I cannot stress this enough. Before you remove a single screw, you have to unplug the washer from the wall. We are dealing with electricity here, and your safety is the absolute top priority. Seriously, no exceptions. So to get to the lock, you'll need to pop the top panel off the washer. Usually it's just held on by a couple of screws at the back. Once those are out, the panel should slide back and lift right off. Now, look down the front panel from the inside, right where the door closes, and you'll see it, that plastic door lock assembly. Once you've found the lock, carefully unplug the wire connector that's attached to it. Now, get a good close look at both the plug and the little metal pins on the lock itself. See any signs of burning, melting plastic, or that greenish corrosion? That right there is a dead giveaway. If you see that, you've found your problem. The lock has shorted out and it has to be replaced. But what if there's no visible damage? Well, now we need to test the lock electrically. This is the decisive step, and you're going to need a simple multimeter. Just set it to test for continuity. That's the setting that usually beeps. It basically just checks if an electrical path is complete or not. This table right here, it's our cheat sheet. It turns the electrical signals into a simple yes or no. The lock has 2 little switches inside. So with your meter probes on the door close switch terminals, you should get nothing, silence. But when you push the latch in with a screwdriver to fake the door closing, it should beep. Now, the door lock switch is the exact opposite. It should have continuity normally, and then it should go silent when you push that latch in. So here's the bottom line. If either one of those tests gives you a result that's different from what you see on this table, the diagnosis is confirmed. The guts of the door lock assembly have failed, and the whole thing needs to be replaced. There's no gray area here. The meter tells the whole story. It's bad. So you've done the tests, you've gathered the evidence. Now it is time for the final verdict and to figure out your next move. Let's use our ears for a second too. If, when you try to start a cycle, you hear this frantic click, click, click from the door area, that's a classic sign. It's the control board trying over and over again to engage a lock that's just not responding. Now, if you hear absolute silence, well, it could still be the lock, but that also brings a potential wiring or main board issue into play. This right here lays out your two paths forward. If it's a failed lock assembly, this is a fantastic DIY repair, honestly. The part is usually somewhere between 40 and $100, and it's maybe a half-hour job for most people. But if you suspect it's the main board or you're just not comfortable doing it yourself, a professional service call is definitely the way to go. And there you have it. We've gone from a frustrating blinking code to a clear diagnosis. You've checked the simple stuff, you performed the key electrical test, and you understand your options. Now you know exactly what your next step is, whether that's ordering a new lock assembly or making that service call. You've got the knowledge to make that decision with confidence.